And we're live. Welcome back, Northreach, to another episode of The Chopping Block, and welcome to our mid-season episode. It's kind of weird to think, it only feels like yesterday where we just started interviewing Lucian, but now we're already halfway through our lineup. So, as always, I'm your host, Hars, and with me, as always, is my lovely lady co-host, Vexicus.
Hi.
I don't know why I was so eloquent with that one, when all the other times it's just been Vex. But, and today's guest is the Monarch of Frozen Coast. Welcome, Blue.
So if I just don't introduce myself, does that ruin this?
Well, no, I think I've introduced all the guests so far, so like, well, except for Minnie, but you know, I introduced him in a different way. All right, so how you doing, Blue? How's Frozen Coast?
I'm doing well. Frozen Coast is doing phenomenal.
As always.
Yeah, I cannot take any credit for Frozen Coast doing amazing. That is all them.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys
amazing
done it, but like every time I've gone up there, it has just been the most consistently chill place I've ever been.
I want to go.
I don't get it either. It's just like there's phenomenal people. I guess it's just the people here are amazing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I'd like to apologize in advance, by the way, Blue. As we're recording this now, the first round of Tour de North just happened, so we just went through Ice Fire Bane Froco's mid-rain, and I'm sorry to say that I had to tag out of your guys' thing early because, you know, winter is coming in and you know, with it being so dark, we just started getting our first week of snow, so we wanted to make it home while we had some daylight to burn, and rightfully so, because I found out we actually made it home about 2 hours later than we were initially projected to, just because like it's like that period where everybody forgets how to drive in the snow, so we were all driving like 20 miles below the speed limit.
I'm just glad you guys got home safely. I'm kind of sorry for you guys, like that you guys didn't get to stay and
I was gonna say, yeah, please tell me
enjoy
about
the
it.
party.
Suckers.
The Magic
Thank
the
you,
Gathering
Vex.
tournament, our whole mid-rain party was just a ball.
But yeah, it looked like it was fun for like the few instants I was there. I think we were only there for about an hour before, like we didn't even make it to award time. Like they were just serving food when we had to pull out.
You know the best thing about Lovecraft?
Was that?
So he writes these stories that are like, the scientist is going along and weird things are happening and it's the worst thing you could possibly imagine. He found a ghoul and his mind is torn apart forever and his world is changed and blah blah blah. And then you have the modern day where it's just like, yeah, one afternoon I wrote a silly little comic about a ghoul eating human flesh, no biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
That sounds about right. Vex loves the Lovecraft.
It's a lot. This collection. It's a lot of Lovecraft. Like, it got to the point where I had to stop because I couldn't take it anymore. There are over 1,000 pages here.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost 1,100 pages here. And some of the stories are really, really good. And like the introduction, you get introduced to him and it's just like, oh, this is fun, this is cool. And then you kind of get used to the idea of like, we have another white, well-to-do college boy going on another freaky adventure, questioning his insanity the whole way, being a dumbass.
How did we get on this discussion anyway?
Can you hear me
I
now?
don't know.
Oh yeah, here you go.
All right, is that better?
Yep. All right. So Vex in particular was actually really excited about this episode because she said she had some exciting stuff she wanted to talk about. So what were you wanting to bring out, Vex?
Oh, yeah. So, I am currently indulging in the opportunity to play one of my favorite childhood PlayStation 2 games because it became available on the PlayStation 4 store. So I am head over heels playing Dark Cloud whenever I get a chance.
God, I love that game.
It's so fun. I love it so much. Since I just got the second editionary character, Goro,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him, and I never have, and I think I figured out why.
Why?
It's his attitude.
What's his attitude?
He's such a jerk.
Oh.
So you meet him, and he's a complete jerk. He's like, my dad disappeared 5 years ago, and I think it's the villagers' fault because they're cowards. So he's hiding in his treehouse, and you try to talk to him, and he's like, no, get away from me. I don't like you either. And
baby's first edgelord.
right. So then he like talks to his dad's dead ghost, and his dad's like, you should help save the world because it's the right thing to do. And so he starts crying, anger crying, and he says, well, I'm not gonna save the world for these people or for you. I'm gonna do it for me. And that's it. That's like his last spoken line in the whole game. I don't appreciate that.
You know, I haven't played that game in a long time, so I remember almost none of it. So I'm gonna operate under your word for that.
Yeah. Ooh, so I can make stuff up.
I'm gonna have to take both your word for it because I haven't played that game.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good dungeon crawler game.
It was my very first dungeon crawler game. It used to scare me a lot because it has mimics, and I had never encountered that concept before.
Oh god. Oh god. That reminds me of like a D&D story where some people who I've told about the story, but I created a character a while ago that was conceptually based on Sir Barrington, you know, the 4chan story from Pathfinder. His name was Bosco von Barrington, and it's exactly the same premise. And for those of you who don't know, it's a bear who put all of his points into disguise to look like this burly buff mountain man, and all of his other points into bluff. So basically he's bluffing every time he speaks to speak common. So like every once in a while I'll flub one of my rolls and just be like, I believe we should go there. And oh yeah, so Pyrra was playing my druid to sort of help with my disguises and all that, and she ended up we ended up in a dragon's cave. I don't remember how we got there, and she ended up trying to steal some of its treasure that was in a chest. Turned out it was a mimic that bit her, and like to sort of explain our character's relationship in that game as it was kind of like, imagine a little sister and a big daddy from BioShock. So if she was in danger, Bosco would auto rage and just like attack everything. He soloed a dragon. I feel like
you weren't there, Hars, at the first Frozen Odyssey when we actually had a mimic, were you?
No, I wasn't, and I wish I was.
It was fantastic.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
You missed out.
Wasn't that the one where isn't that when Will made like that giant chest
essentially
and someone was hiding in it?
Yeah, so we had the giant chest and we drug it out into the forest. And I don't remember exactly what the quest was, but it was a treasure chest off in like a corner of the cave system that we had there. Mm-hmm. And Deli, of course Deli, is hiding in this chest. And one of the teams comes up and they're gonna open the chest. Mm-hmm. And Deli, they open the chest and out pops Deli, and there is treasure in it. Mm-hmm. Legitimately, treasure is in this chest. But Deli pops out with 2 daggers and goes immediately into fight after death. And I think it was, I can't remember exactly who it was. It was some assassin. Snuck up behind the entire fight, took all of the treasure and ran.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I just realized it's been about 10 minutes of us just kind of blabbering on about whatever. So
you can cut stuff.
Yeah. No, honestly, no. I'm okay with like a majority of what we just talked about. So, but what I am saying is maybe we should probably move on to some of these questions. You go with that, Blue?
Mm-hmm.
You the boss, man.
I mean, it's your show, not mine. Well, I mean, anyway.
This isn't John.
Oh God, no, we're not doing that again. Anyway, on a more serious note, oh, never mind. So this first question we have is from Deli. Why so blue?
So, I read all these questions, and all of the blue-themed questions are just kind of fantastic. But this one in particular just kind of made me just put my hand in my face. And I guess I'm going to answer this question this way. I wasn't blue. I was not sad. I was not like at all bothered until I read that question. So that comment on that post is the reason I am so blue at the moment.
I hope you're happy.
Because it made me think about it. And when you think about why you might be sad, it kind of makes you sad.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Deli.
Yeah. I hope you're happy, Deli. You got your answer. But it's kind of like a lost scenario where like the answers don't really make you happy and nobody's happy now as a result.
Nobody wins.
Yeah, points for like the 5 people that'll get that reference.
Our next question comes from Lachlan. In a game of Cards against Northreach, what would your white card be? Referencing Cards of Humanity.
So I've thought about this for so long, and I still don't have an answer. I mean, I guess I need to know what the black card is in order to know what white card I would want to append to it.
Okay, let's say, for argument's sake, the black card is, this accurately describes the amtgarder. What white card would you choose as your answer?
Dumpster flamethrower.
Dumpster flamethrower?
Yes, because there are certain people, and not to name names, but there are just certain. It's like a class of people who, not consistently, and quite often, occasionally, like accidentally. How do I say this without digging a hole?
It's okay.
It's alright. You're already
We're
on the
nice.
chopping block. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I guess at this point I'm already losing.
I wasn't just calling the show the chopping block because it sounded fancy. You on the spot, fam.
All right. I don't know. It's just, to me, there's the worst thing for me is I don't like dumpster fires because nobody wins, and it happens to the best of people to just start it. Because it can, drama's like that. You can just be, you can instigate drama without any intention or any knowing. What was the question?
The question was, what was your card going to be in Cards Against Humanity, and you chose Dumpster Flamethrower, and then we just kind of got.
Why did I
here.
say that?
I don't know.
All right, let's go with it. Moving on.
All right, Dumpster Flamethrower, and well.
There's a bright side to drama, though.
What's that?
It's hilarious.
It could
It's
be,
fun to look back on, definitely.
It's a chance for pent-up feelings and information to get out into the clear.
It's like a purge.
Which is always better than not.
Yeah, I guess it's like a good purge session or something.
It's like a volcano. It all builds up, it explodes, and then it's over.
And then the ash covers everything and puts nutrition. What? I don't know.
You know what ash is, right?
Into the soil.
It's basically glass.
And it puts nutrition into the soil.
Vex, that's not how that works, though.
Yes,
Vex,
and then plants grow.
Vex, like.
Have you not seen Fantasia 2000? What the hell?
Have you not seen Have you not seen Mount Redoubt when it blew out like 10 years ago?
Have you not seen Dante's Peak? Now I'm just throwing names. What?
I have
what
seen
now?
Dante's Peak, and I feel like we're kind of getting off the point here, Vex.
The grandma didn't need to jump out. God damn.
She chose to jump. She chose. No, she chose to stay.
Holy shit, this is a good way to go. Like, I have my chance. I can get away from these fuckers. Be the hero. I'm not allowed to cuss like that on this. I'm sorry. I was just rolling with it.
So I feel like this is another one of those cases where there is a reference here that I missed.
Dante's Peak was a movie from was it like the 90s or 80s?
It is a classic. You should have listened to The Scientist.
Yeah, it's another
Bad
disaster movie, but it was before like disaster movies started to become mainstream.
Yeah, it was before like they were their own genre.
Yeah, like it was before like the time of Independence Day, where like they all kind of started coming into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so back to the actual questions. So Deli asked a few of them, so I'm just gonna ask them all in one setting. What is your favorite type of berry? What is your favorite type of music? What is your favorite type of cheese? What is your favorite type of whale? And what is your favorite type of Pokemon game?
Did he have a book, like a children's picture book in front of him? It was just naming all the pictures he saw and ask questions.
No. The thing is, like, I want you to look at these questions and see if you can't like find an answer that doesn't have a theme.
I see what Deli was going for here, but I'm just gonna give it a kind of rapid fire answer. All right.
All right.
My favorite type of berry is Raz. My favorite type of music is jazz. My favorite type of cheese is probably cheddar. My favorite whale is probably the beluga. And my favorite Pokemon game was Go. Just because watching those people go down the street and being like, how many of them could I just like... they're just all sucked into their phones. How many of them are just going to walk into traffic?
I think there was a moment of solid
ooh,
tension
a
there.
Bulbasaur, I'm gonna go this way, and then just, cars.
There's a, here on the chopping block, we don't normally try to expose the dark sides of our monarchs, but Blue, you're doing a great job anyway.
So I think there was a moment of solid.
I'm not trying to say that I want it's just a thought. It's not like I don't desire this. Denying it probably makes me sound worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll be real with you. It really does.
That good old, you know what would be great? Wanting murder.
That's not what I said.
I know.
I just said it was fantastic watching people sucked into their phones on the sidewalks, because it's like, how can you think that's a good idea?
Or walking into hospitals randomly. So silly. Yeah. Anyways, I have to get this out. So I think there was a moment of solid tension, and you and I, Hars, were waiting on that last question to see if Blue would get at least one of those questions the way Deli wanted it.
But the thing is I very intentionally made it not.
Yeah. I think we were really hoping.
Yeah, I'll admit I was hoping a little too, but...
Kind of that moment of slightly, almost imperceptibly leaning forward in our seats. Malik asks, how did you get your persona name? I love that assumption that you didn't make it. You were given it.
I swear, this episode I always seem to be getting the silly ones, and Vex always gets the serious ones.
So, when I started Amtgard, okay, I didn't have Garb, but I used to do Judo, okay? So I was like, I can just take my Judo gi, wear it to Amtgard. Boom, Garb, okay? Well, in Judo, you get, like, the way they run their tournaments is everyone has to have two gis, a white one and a blue one. And that way everyone, when you're fighting in a tournament, there's one wears the other, and they can tell you guys apart. Okay?
Huh.
So,
Neat.
I looked at him and I was like, not gonna wear the white one, because then it's gonna get dirty. It's gonna be super visible, it's gonna look ugly. So I'll wear the blue one to Amtgard. Okay? And then, I went and I made myself a persona name, it was Cizir, and no one could pronounce it. So I tried this for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. And then I dyed my hair blue. So I went to fighter's practice. And I went to fighter's practice, and it was Red and Lucian. And Red was like, can we just call you Blue now? And Lucian was like, no. And I was like, yes.
So, I had sort of my own theory as to what that answer was going to be, and I'm actually kind of sad it didn't come true. But I'm just saying, like, looking at Lucian's belt family, his page is red, his man-at-arms is blue, but he doesn't have a single apprentice that's named Green. And
but you know, Lucian's always been green in my mind.
That's true, that's true. So, you know, maybe that's
we
what
actually
he's
had a
going
guy
for.
come to Frozen Coast for a day. I think he might come back. I think he's just been busy. But his persona name is Green.
Oh.
Ooh. You need a yellow though. You need your primaries.
Yeah, you guys sounds like you got a very multicultural, a lot of different colors.
I want to just create a household and just add all of the people to it who are named after colors.
Oh my god, Deli, why do you ask all the chain questions?
Deli!
Jesus.
That's the
All right.
white card. Damn it, Deli.
Yeah, damn it, Deli. That'll be. I don't know, Blue. If you want to change that, now's your chance. But it only has to be damn it, Deli. All right. Anyway, so.
I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, like,
All right. So here's a chain. So here's another chain question. Do you want me to just read them off to you in succession?
well, no, you got me thinking now, and I was thinking about the white card.
Oh.
You know, a ridiculous invention by Delahiva would be a fantastic white card.
You know, I really should revive that old Cards Against the Monarchy thing. Just see what happens with it. So this next question is from Deli. Well, questions, I should say, and that is, what is your favorite weapon combo? What is your favorite part of Frozen Coast? What is your favorite newbie in Frozen Coast? Do you have any crafting plans? Favorite class? Favorite battle game? Talk about your fondness to questing experiences, and if you were to eventually be knighted, what path would it be for? And I guess this last one's a good one, is how did you find out about Amtgard?
Alright, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list. Some of these will have longer answers than others.
Okay.
Favorite weapon combo? I am a really big fan of dual daggers. Just because you die a lot, but it is so much fun. Favorite part about Frozen Coast? I don't understand the intent of this question, guess, because I've never looked at Frozen Coast as like parts. My favorite thing in Frozen Coast is probably just how tight, like how helpful the community here is, and it's pretty much Amtgard wide, but in Frozen Coast in particular, I've noticed that if anyone in Frozen Coast needs help or needs to do something, anyone in Frozen Coast is willing to extend that hand. My favorite newbie in Frozen Coast, I plead the fifth. Any crafting plans? I've got all sorts of crafting plans. I think my next crafting plan is I'm gonna make a sign to hang above my TV that says "Get stuff done," so that when I sit down to waste time, I get motivated.
That's brilliant.
My favorite class, gotta go with Scout, just because it gets a lot of flack, but I really like that it's got so much versatility and does so many different things, and it's just kind of fantastic. And you know, when you get the ultimate druid build and can go out there with more enchantments than you know what to do with, it is absolutely ridiculous. Favorite battle game, Ring the Bell.
Yes! I got to play that for the first time.
Yes, I remember.
Talk about my
that.
fondest questing experience. All right, Deli. So, Deli probably already knows the answer to this question because he's in it. It was again during the first Frozen Odyssey quest, which I've only been in Amtgard for a limited time, so as far as quests go, that one like set the bar. It was the first one I ever did, and it was just far and away fantastic. But there was this point where we were there were Cyclops at the top of a hill, and we had to fight them. And Deli's playing one of the Cyclops, and I go up there and I'm fighting my way up the hill. And what Deli's doing is he's like finding these stumps, and he's jumping off these stumps to land like in front of people and swing. He's got a giant hammer and he's swinging it at people, and all these just big, really predictable moves. Me and my gracefulness, I stepped into his way, and as he's jumping off and he's got his like battle cry going, he just runs into me, knocks me down to the ground, and we both get up and I run, and we complete the quest. And I'm not sure how Deli made it around so fast, but as I'm exiting the cave system that we built, Deli's there, and now he's not playing the Cyclops anymore, he's actually playing his character. And he's talking about how it was so awesome that I got tackled by a Cyclops up there, and he heard the stories about it, and it was so epic. And I was pretty new to Amtgard at this point, so it just felt like it was my hero moment. It was I did something awesome, and it was the first time I'd ever had that. So that is far and away my favorite questing experience.
That sounds awesome.
I'm gonna make it
my goal to go to Frozen Odyssey.
Alright, if I were to eventually be knighted, which path would it be? I keep hearing rumors, and I doubt it's coming to fruition, but I keep hearing, like, people keep talking about, like, if there were to be a fifth knight path, what would it be? I'm just gonna go off on a limb and say that if there is a fifth knight path, that's what I'm going to get knighted as. Because I have no idea. I'm just gonna assume it's that.
I mean,
alright.
If there is a fifth, fair enough.
Yeah. It's the cop-out answer. It's the I don't know which path I'm going for. And how did I find out about Amtgard? So I worked at a fast food restaurant, alright? And I rode my bike to work every day. And it was a Thursday, and I was riding my bike home from work after I was scheduled for 4 hours that day, and they kept me for 9. So I'm riding my bike home from work, and I lived on South Forest at the time, so as I'm riding my bike home, they're doing fighters practice, and I see these people, and they're hitting each other with foam sticks. And I just kind of I do the double take, and I'm like, this is what I need in my life. So I go home, and I throw my apron off, I don't bother to change or anything, I just run across the street, and I'm like, how do I do this? And I think it was Sora was the person who introduced me to Amtgard and made it sound so fantastic. And that's pretty much it. Soon as I held the sword in my hand and hit someone with it, I was hooked.
That sounds awesome. I was like on the show when we do sort of a how did these people get into Amtgard, because we always get some fun stories. So apologies to Kareena. We're not ignoring you. It's just that Malik had asked this question earlier on the Northreach page, whereas you asked the persona name thing on the Frozen Coast page. So this next one we have would be from Sheself.
Alrighty, Shizo asks.
You guys
what
are pronouncing
was-
his name wrong.
Is it
Shizo.
Right. Yeah.
Shizo.
There you go.
Shizu.
Well, I'm
One
not-
of those was correct. I'm not telling
not
you which
apolog-
one.
All right, Shizo. Okay, so
Shizu asks, what was your favorite experience in combat?
Getting tackled by a cyclops.
I mean, I guess that's a short and sweet answer. All right, so this last one we got here was from Headland, also on the Frozen Coast page, and that is, what drew you to running for office?
I mean, obviously, I'm not busy enough. I've always been one that, like, if I like something, and I enjoy doing something, I've always had a like passion about helping and volunteerism, helping people, helping in pretty much whatever. I did student government. I did pretty much anything that I try to. Admittedly, I'm not the best at it, but I try to do whatever I can to help out with anything that I'm passionate about. And Amtgard very quickly became something that I'm passionate about. So it was the kind of thing where it's like, I like this a lot. I want to make this better. And reviewing my skill set, I was like, here's what I could do.
All right, well, I believe that wraps up the questions we have on the Northreach page. So all I really have left is just this a question that I'm sad to say I actually forgot to ask Grim and Abram when we interviewed them on this. But where were you when we became a kingdom?
So, I don't remember exactly where I was. I just remember it was, I was on my phone, like when I got a notification. I was like, oh, something was posted by Lucian in the Kingdom of Northreach page. I'm gonna check that later. And then, like, 30 seconds had passed, and I was like, no, this could be important. It's during clan. So I checked my phone. And I remember reading it and just sitting down and not standing up for a while. But I don't remember exactly where I was. I just remember the, like, almost like Frodo, like in the Middle Earth scene. It's over. It's done. But, yeah, so I had very, like, little involvement in the push for Kingdom, aside from, hype and the involvement of most Northreachers, but I wasn't on any of the teams making the actual work happen. So it was more just that, like, for me, it was less, oh my gosh, we did it. It was, they did it. And I felt so happy for the people who had put hours of work into making this happen. And I feel like when I found out about it, I was more happy for them and happy for Northreach as a whole.
Amen to that, brother. All right. I know Vex has been sort of giving me like this urgent look. So now that we're done with the questions that I have and all the questions we have on the page, now we can go to her favorite part of the show, that is Vex's lightning round, where for those of you first time watching, this is basically where I just kind of let Vex go off her hinges and just kind of ask whatever she wants. So, Vex, take it away.
Okay, so what Hogwarts house are you in?
Wow, you were quick with that.
I am a Gryffindor.
Sweet.
You know, those are actually kind of a rarity these days. I am not. It's been a while since I've run across someone who's actually a Gryffindor.
Why are you a Gryffindor?
That is a much more difficult question.
There's reasons. You were very upfront with your answer.
I mean, that itself
I think
kinda
it's
tell you
mostly
that.
just the, like, upfront. I like. One of the ways that I've always described myself, and I think this kind of plays into it a little bit, is I get things, like, I like to just do things, and I like to just do stuff. And I think adventure is a big part of it. Like, I'm the kind of guy who, when I was living in Fairbanks, I'd be like, I'm gonna go to Anchorage this weekend on Saturday, and do it, just because I felt like I had nothing better to do. And I've always just kind of been that outgoing, upfront, straight to the point, make things happen kind of attitude, which I guess kind of plays into it. The whole bravery and courage thing,
I mean, that's just one trait of like dozens.
Yeah. Like, I don't really know how to explain like why I'm brave. That seems like a question that would have to be answered by other people.
Relax. You're among friends here. We're kind of in the neutral houses. Yeah. Vex is a Hufflepuff. I'm a Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff! I remember like there was the meme, and it was like it was a knife, and it was like a red hot knife.
Oh yeah.
to cut bread with.
Yeah.
And it was like the Slytherins like
It was a lightsaber knife.
Yeah. And the
it was
Slytherins
toasting
like,
bread as
imagine
it was
stabbing
cutting
someone with it.
Yeah.
And then the was it the Ravenclaws? Like it would immediately cauterize the wound.
So it would be useful. And then the Slytherin was like, "Not, do you want to get information?"
Why would you stab people when you could have toast?
Yes, that is me, 100%.
Yeah, I gotta give it to toast though.
Yeah.
Like of all of the kitchen appliances I don't own, a toaster is the one that I really just need to.
I don't think. I was gonna say, I think regardless of what your house is, I think we can all agree that Hufflepuff is probably the best. And this is from a non-Hufflepuff, so.
Well, J.K. Rowling said that she'd always considered herself to be a Gryffindor until one day her daughter said, "You know what? I think that you're probably more of a Hufflepuff." And she sat down and thought about it, because at first she was like, "No, I'm not." But she thought about it, and she came to the realization that maybe Hufflepuff is the type of person we all should want to be.
Yeah, I can accept that. Hufflepuffs are pretty great. Vex is not. Vex, like, just looking smug in the distance.
Basking.
I don't know. It's interesting because, Hufflepuff definitely has some very obvious positive traits. But I think all of them have very...
They're basically Hogwarts Canada.
That might be my favorite thing I've heard all day.
Hogwarts Canada?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to use that.
Yeah.
I was saying something, but you said Hogwarts Canada, and now I'm not gonna be able to remember anything.
Well, I don't know, Vex. Did you have anything else you wanted to throw out?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. You playing any video games right now?
So, normally I don't play very many video games, but recently I broke my leg, so I was getting... I've been playing more recently than I have been. And I thought about loading up Skyrim, and then I realized that I didn't have it downloaded on my computer and didn't want to bother with the effort. So I pulled out, dusted off the old Xbox 360 and loaded up Oblivion, which my roommate proceeded to call Old Skyrim, and that is what I've been playing.
I'm not gonna lie, that hurt me a little bit.
I
about fell off the couch laughing.
It's like... Sorry, I'm still processing that. It's like... I really hope the next Elder Scrolls people don't call Skyrim 2. Because that's my fear right now with Bethesda.
I think I counted how many times Skyrim had been officially re-released. I think we're up to like 7. If I remember correctly.
Literally since it premiered, it has been announced like every year at E3 for like the past 6 years now. Skyrim is a 6-year-old game, and they announced it twice this year.
Oh my god.
Like, one because like it was gonna be for the Nintendo Switch, and the other was, I think, another remaster. Oh wait, no, it was when they had to like do the mods you had to buy thing. It's like, Bethesda, what are you doing?
It's a fun game though.
I'll say this now before I get any flack on this. It's like, I will fully admit Skyrim is a good game, but not announced every year at E3 for the next 6 years good. Yeah. I don't think I'll put... That's a trust I don't give to any game. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent there.
I stopped giving credit to advertisements for Elder Scrolls games. So, like, anytime like I see something, because they're fake and they're all over the place, but they'll be like, Elder Scrolls 6 something. I've been rickrolled too many times, so now I see it and I'm just like, no. It could be official, and I'll be like, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been like ever since Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, I've operated under the rule of no gameplay, no hype. So if you don't see any gameplay in the trailer from like E3, then you have nothing to be hyped about. Because like, I've swallowed that pill before, and I'm not letting that go back up again.
And I've got to say, as far as Bethesda games are concerned, if the next Elder Scrolls games come out, I will be playing it 2 weeks after it's released. Because jumping on the Elder Scrolls game day of release date is really just being like, I'm gonna pay $60 to beta test this.
How do you feel about Lovecraft?
I think you mean HP Lovecraft?
Yes. We were just discussing him before the show. Maybe during the beginning of the show?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yes. I recorded some of it.
I don't know enough to formulate a really good opinion because works are, and I've read, but I've never really had the time to just sit like, all right, HP Lovecraft, boom, read.
His work is definitely a commitment.
Mm-hmm. Well, not individually. He wrote so many short things.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking like from your perspective, who bought the HP Lovecraft collection, which is like over 1,000 pages.
Son of a bitch here.
I'm giving you flack for it because I did the exact same thing and I did not realize the trip I put myself on.
We can throw shade at each other because we're under the same tree.
Yeah.
I came up with that.
High five.
Yay.
We probably peaked super badly from that.
Yeah. So hey, did you know? You know about Cthulhu, right?
Yeah.
What do you know about him? It.
I know he's like a squid monster god thing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
my understanding from pop culture, basically, was that he is an elder god. And I read the actual story about Cthulhu, and he's not. He's not an elder god. He is a priest of the elder gods who is, what, like, entombed on Earth?
Yeah, I think so. They refer to him as the Old One. Which,
Yeah.
Which, now that I really get down to it, that is a term people use a lot for, like, pastors. Because
Yeah.
typically they've been depicted in literature and media as old men, for the most part. And that's probably just what they see him like. So that those long tentacles are probably just an alien-like beard.
Mm-hmm.
A squid beard.
It was just one of those moments where, like, the veil was pulled from my eyes. Kind of like how I grew up with all these jokes about William Shatner, Captain Kirk being a total womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the actual original Star Trek series, and I was just like, he's not. Like, it's very obvious that a lot of women throw themselves at him because he's, like, the hero captain persona, but he's, like, I didn't get that vibe from what pop culture had thoroughly taught me up until that point.
Yeah, they do more of that with they do more of that in the reboot of Star Trek, like in the in the movies, and they do in the actual TV series. Anyways,
that was tangents.
I mean, as far as pop culture is concerned, I just don't get it. Like, a lot of references, I'm just like, I'm lost. That went right over my head.
All right, I think that's a good point to stop here. Well, I just want to say thank you everyone at home for watching this, and thank you, Blue, for being on our show. Also, I want to make a big shout out to you for being a good sport about this, because I realized we may have done a little bit of roasting on you, and that was not what our intention was. Well, maybe Vex.
Oh no, it's fine.
What, I roasted? What did I do? I don't even remember. Oh my god! What came out of my mouth?
I think it's the energy drink talking, Vex.
Oh.
All right.
Oh no.
You know, Hars, I also kind of want the clarification. When did I get roasted?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't get that impression, then I will not apologize for anything.
Are you projecting?
Maybe. In that case, I will apologize because I feel like I might have done some of that myself. But anyway, all right. So for everyone watching at home, thank you for watching, and tune in next episode where we'll be going back to the Kingdom Top 5 and be interviewing the Chancellor Hadeland. Until then, I'm Hars. This is Vex. And you've been watching the Chopping Block. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.